All right, welcome back to the Bro Show. Um, Today we're going to talk about sleep issues, especially lack of sleep. This is
Let's
probably,
go through the top five that we think of. I mean, there's a lot, but we kind of narrowed it down to what's the top five things that keep people from sleeping.
in our practice, probably for more than 10 years, this has been one of the leading complaints people have had is they're not sleeping. And this kind of came on all of a sudden back around 2009, I think, and then it just got progressively worse.
Mm-hmm.
Till recently, it's just almost everyone you talk to isn't sleeping well. So we think we understand the reason why, and we're going to talk about some of the common causes, both biochemical and physical. And so we have like five things, and we'll start with the fifth.
We've sleuthed it out, I think.
So the fifth condition would be nutritional deficiencies, especially minerals and B vitamins. But lack of magnesium, for instance, will not allow you to totally relax. Your muscles can't relax without magnesium. Your nervous system needs B vitamins to be relaxed, so to speak. And a lot of people are deficient in nutrition. We need 90 nutrients every day. We need 60 minerals, and they have to be from a plant source. They have to have gone through photosynthesis to be charged with electrons to be utilized by the body to be bioavailable. So those minerals have to be accompanied by 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. We got to get these every day and enough for our body weight. Because we build 1 billion new cells every hour, 24 billion new cells every day. So we got to have the building blocks to make those cells, as well as to repair and rejuvenate the existing cells, which is why we need to sleep well. So we go through what's called autophagy, so the cells can regenerate and rebuild. So nutritional deficiencies, until fairly recently, would have been one of my top picks for causes of lack of sleep. Now that we've learned more, we're going to cover those conditions that have to be right in order for nutrition and biochemistry in general to work at all.
I want to share my screen a second. While you're on the nutrition, I'd like to share, just talk about one thing in specific is the minerals. And this one in particular, ancient minerals, magnesium. Magnesium in particular, let me say that. And then a couple of different ways. Of course, there's some good oral forms, and you have to have the right oral forms. A lot of times people think they're taking enough for the right form, but there's a lot more to that, which I'm not going to get into now. When we do the sleep seminar, we'll get into that. But this one is easy. This is from Ancient Minerals, and they have a topical source of magnesium. And there's basically 3 different ones. They have a lotion, they have an oil, and they have a gel. The oil isn't really an oil, it's just a very thick liquid. And the lotion is the least effective because it's mixed with lotion. And the oil is the next one that would be effective, and it's a spray. And it's kind of, it could be good or bad. It could be easier to use or not, I guess the way I should say it. A spray may be good, but it's hard to get enough, I find, and doing maybe 8 sprays to get what you could get from a teaspoon of the gel. The gel form is way easier to use, and it absorbs within 20 minutes. And this form of getting magnesium bypasses the digestive tract, so it doesn't cause loose stools, which sometimes some forms of magnesium do. But also this site has a lot of information on magnesium, the deficiencies. This is really good. I'm not going to go to it now, but look at that. It's ancientminerals.com, but they have the symptoms of low magnesium when you go there. But you'll find that there's muscle cramps, twitches, major Charlie horses, fatigue, heart arrhythmias, inability to relax. You know, these are all the symptoms, and this is really good. There's little bits of articles that they have in here. And then they talk about the topical magnesium and then their products. But this would be a really good site to go to. So that would be the nutritional one. And as Bobby mentioned, you know, B vitamins and, you know, just enough nutrition and the right nutrition. But that's kind of the low man on the totem pole, because there are other things that are way more impacting on the ability of the body to sleep, which gets into number 4 is...
Oh, number 4 would be not getting outdoors. And when we are outdoors, we're wearing some kind of lenses over our eyes that filter beneficial, essential frequencies of light. Light is essential for sleep because several things. We need ultraviolet-A from the sun in order to make a substance called melatonin. It's a neurotransmitter that we all have heard about in relationship to sleep. And it's the nighttime hormone, but we make it during the day when we're outside. Has to be around 10 o'clock or later in order to get the ultraviolet A directly into our eyes, not through any sunglasses or regular prescription glasses or contact lenses, because they filter all the ultraviolet A. And ultraviolet A, when it hits specialized cells in our eyes called the retinal pigmentum epithelium, they produce neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, and melatonin right in the eye itself. So the melatonin is stored until at night when you need it. And then you have to experience 4 hours of darkness before melatonin is even secreted in the brain. So at night, if you're indoors under artificial light, the frequencies of blue that come from artificial light, especially LEDs, fluorescent lights, halogens, things like this, they contain a spike of blue, but they don't have red along with it like sunlight does. Blue light is not found in nature by itself. There's always red to balance it out. So the artificial lights have blue because that's more efficient to produce. And the blue affects our body's mitochondria, or power plants in all our cells. And it basically turns off the energy production. And our cells then get dehydrated because mitochondria hydrate the cells also. They produce water, one of their jobs. So this starts to create all kinds of physiologic problems and imbalances in the body. So the not getting outdoors, when we should be doing, and think of how we're wired. We've been for thousands of years living under the influence of the sun. Wake up with the sun, go to sleep shortly after the sun sets. And now we live indoors and don't do that. So we should be outside watching the sunrise. When the sunrise, that color of the rising sun tells our eyes, our pituitary gland, to start producing hormones. It starts our circadian biology. Circadian biology is, let me show you, humans are part of an assembly of circadian oscillators ranging from fungi to mammals. We and everything else alive, from plankton to fungus, lions to hippos, are synchronized to the orbit and rotation of the earth and in and out of the sun's light to assure us a food supply. So this 24-hour light-dark cycle is the circadian rhythm that our body functions under.
And look at that, just so you had that back, just go back a second. The cortisol release is at around 6 in the morning. You know, that's starting to rise as the sun is coming up to wake you up. You should naturally have high cortisol then. And then look at, like where you said, the melatonin secretion doesn't happen till, into the sleep. So your body's saying, hey, are you really serious about sleeping? If you are, I'm going to release some melatonin and then you'll go into deep sleep and everything will be cool. And then look what happens. You're not moving around, you're not metabolizing, so you're just sleeping and your body temperature drops. And then your blood sugar starts to rise again, sun's coming up and your cortisol comes up and it wakes you up. And then we go high alert, you know, and then that goes during the day, high body temperature, you know, during the day, and that cycle goes around again with the sun and the moon, the light and the dark.
So this area from sunset, when it's dark, if we have artificial light, we've lengthened our day, but also we don't have this dark period before melatonin would start to be secreted. So
this is the gold right there. That is the gold.
Making the melatonin, we're not going to sleep. And if we destroy the melatonin we did make with artificial light at night, then we're not going to sleep at night. Okay, most of us in the modern world have no idea what the circadian rhythm is, let alone have any concept of what controls it or how it affects our physiology. Our circadian rhythm is a massive factor in our health. So all life on Earth has evolved in alignment with this 24-hour daily pattern of light and dark. And the physiological and behavioral processes of all organisms are synchronized to this 24-hour cycle. So the circadian rhythm is simply your body's biology responding to external signals of light and dark. So you get sleepy at night and then fall asleep for 7 to 9 hours because your circadian clock in your brain is controlling hormones and transmitters. You wake up in the morning and stay awake all day because your circadian clock in your brain is controlling hormones and transmitters.
Hold that picture a second. So when the sun comes up, we should be opening our shades and our blinds, letting the sunlight in, getting that, and then more importantly, going out. I mean, you don't have to actually look at it. If you can, you know, be out in it, but just have that light turn on that process in your eyes at that time and wake yourself up.
Right. Now, the glazing in windows, even though there's a lot of light coming through, it filters all the ultraviolet and most of the infrared. So mainly what we're getting through there is blue light, blue and green light, which turn off the mitochondria, as I mentioned.
So we have one good thing, it's telling you by the daytime, which is, you know, the brightness is we get, but the color temperature is still wrong.
You have to get outdoors, actually.
Yes. So we got two issues with the light happening. We have brightness and then we have color temperature that both affect many things that we're starting to
flicker. A flicker of artificial light flickers at 120 or higher times a second, and sunlight doesn't do that. We spent thousands of years looking at campfires at night. So candles and oil lamps, things, they don't flicker. It's continual light, just like we're used to be.
And so it's a different temperature.
Which is almost perfectly engineered to disrupt our circadian rhythm, is wrecking our health, our vitality, our body composition, energy levels, and quality of life. So having an optimized circadian rhythm or a disrupted circadian rhythm can be the difference between poor health, body composition, and quality of life versus excellent health, body composition, and quality of life. As human beings, we're designed to be exposed to lots of natural sunlight in the bright outdoor sky for hours each day, starting first thing in the morning after we wake up. Sunrise starts the circadian biology, which is so fundamental to sleep and metabolism in general, but few people realize just how important it really is. It's more important than your macro or micronutrients. I think the sun is the essential source of photosynthesis in our whole food web. So we need the sun. Don't be afraid of the sun. We've been made to be afraid of the sun and ultraviolet by the medical profession.
So there's intelligent ways of getting the sun. Like you said, in the morning when the rays are low, and then spot getting it through the day, not just rushing out and getting a lot of it, making up for lost time and being burned and hurt.
So we're also designed to have little or no light around after the sun goes down, except for moonlight and firelight, which don't disturb circadian rhythm. The There's no blue light there. Well, a bright full moon can have some effect because it's blue. That's why we have lunacy and lunatics, because of the moon, the effect of the moon on the.
Right, and you got that big full moon shining in your bedroom or something, when and it's like, ah.
So light enters our eyeballs, and specifically the blue light part of the spectrum triggers specific receptors in our eye called melanopsin receptors that are connected by nerves to the circadian clock area of the brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, right here. So the eye tells that clock what time it is by the color temperature of the sun. The sun changes color temperature from sunrise to sunset. So when it's right overhead, it's at 5,750 degrees Kelvin. And guess what the color of LED and fluorescent lights are? 5,700 to 6,500 degrees Kelvin, right in that high noon color range. So those lights are telling the eye, telling the brain that it's high noon. It could be in the middle of the night or right before bed, because you've been watching LED TV or looking at your device, your smartphone or tablet or something, telling your brain that it's high noon. So your circadian biology shifts. Your cortisol goes up, raises your blood sugar, wakes your brain up, things like that.
Let's just say that again. The light that's coming off of the tablet, that's coming off of the cell phone, that's coming off of the Kindle, that's coming off of the TV, is all intensely blue light. So that light is telling your body, it's going into your eyes, and then it's telling your brain that it's noon.
Another thing that blue light does is it destroys melatonin that you made when you're outside at the right time. But when you come in and have blue light at night, it destroys the melatonin, so you're not going to sleep. It destroys DHA also in your eye and in your brain, which is essential for proper functioning of the eye and the brain. So once the circadian clock area of the brain gets the blue light signal from the nerves, that's translated into it's daytime, time to be awake, alert, active, and energetic. The brain then initiates a cascade of different neurotransmitter and hormone changes that rewire your physiology into daytime active energy mode. Once the sun goes down, the lack of light entering the eyes, triggering the nerves that feed into the circadian clock of the brain, then trigger the brain to say it's nighttime, the time for tiredness, relaxation, rest, regeneration, and sleep. And the brain then initiates a whole cascade of different neurotransmitter and hormone changes that rewire your physiology into nighttime rest and sleep mode.
That's brilliant. I mean, if you think about, that picture of the prism, with the light hitting it, and then it breaks the light into all the different visible rays. You can see red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So if we think about that happening with the way the sun is, or with the earth oriented in the sun, that we get those longer rays earlier, and then it gets more intense through the day, and then it goes back down, and then it happens again. So we are wired to that, so to speak. It's happening. It's what that frequency of that light is telling us, going through our eyes and on the skin, and it's telling our body. It's actually creating those hormones, those little those transmitters. They're little messages that tell everything what to do. So what Bobby was saying, the body needs those early long rays to make the nighttime sleep hormone, and then it's stored and used, held for later, but then it's destroyed if we get turned back on. The light is going up, it's noon, and so the body thinks, oh, I'm going to go make some more, not store and use this. So it keeps this confusing cycle in check.
So virtually all of us in the modern society are suffering from one degree or another of circadian rhythm disruption or circadian mismatch. So the modern world we live in is fundamentally mismatched. The signals our biology and our circadian rhythm in particular is designed for. Most of us are completely unaware of this biologic mismatch. And it underlies much of what currently ails most of mankind today, especially people who work at night. People who work at night, they're under artificial light all night, whether they're indoors or outdoors. And they come home because they're tired, they go to sleep, and they're sleeping when they should be outside making more melatonin. And then they're destroying that which they did make, as I mentioned before, at night by being under this artificial light. So they don't sleep. And this is really common with a lot of people. And they have no reason, no idea to why this is happening. And if you go to your doctor and try to find out, you're going to be sitting in a blue lit environment with Wi-Fi and telemetry, all kinds of EMFs bombarding you. They have no idea.
Right, to get some drugs that will just drug you.
They've seen symptoms
Basically.
with slash burn and poison, or drugs, surgery, and radiation. So they have no idea.
Yeah. So we've got nutrition.
Your blood is sensitive to light. Your red blood cells are shaped like satellite dishes. They're tuned to the visible spectrum. That's why when ultraviolet light hits your skin, it creates something called nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. It dilates your capillaries and brings blood to the surface of your skin to be irradiated by the light. And this takes this into the body, into the mitochondria. But, when you're under blue light all the time, and then you're drawing blood and you're drawing it under blue light, analyzing it under blue light, and it affects the outcome of the test. And they have no idea. So we're not getting enough of the daytime energy mode signal into our circadian clock in our brain during the daytime, when we should be getting it, and getting way too much of daytime energy mode signal at night when we shouldn't be getting it.
So number 3 is artificial light.
So this is a big problem. And I'm going to go ahead here to...
light bulbs we get.
Yeah. So
blue color.
This blue color is #1 health issue facing all modern humans. And science has recently found that green also has widespread effects on our cells, our mitochondria, our sleep cycles. So I'm mentioning blue light, but it covers both blue and green. So it's a form of non-native electromagnetic field. And blue light's good when it comes from the sun and has red there with it to balance it. But too much blue light is bad for your health. So LEDs put out 4 times the color temperature of blue light than the sun does.
Wow. So if you have a blue lit environment after dark, you're writing a script for not being able to sleep.
It's a prescription for disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bodies weren't designed for around-the-clock blue light at night. See, 50 to 70 million Americans actually sleep very poorly at night. And at least double, if not triple that number, have suboptimal sleep. Very few people are thus sleeping perfectly, and light exposure at night is one of the main reasons for that outcome, as well as electromagnetic fields.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because it kind of dovetails with the artificial light.
Getting blue light at dark times of the day messes with our body's natural cycles, as I mentioned. So, and then poor sleep over time can become a chronic condition, and exhaustion can make it harder to overcome other health challenges. So there's so many people don't get enough sleep and feel the negative consequences every day. And most of these people have no idea that the artificial blue and green light they're surrounded by, and their Wi-Fi router and their cordless phone and these other non-native electromagnetic fields are the biggest hurdles to restful sleep. So many effects on the body. So we can get blue blocking glasses, and our eyes will experience the darkness that we should, and we'll make the melatonin then or protect the melatonin we made earlier, and then it'll allow us to sleep at night.
So we can put apps on our phones and apps on our tablets and devices and wear the blue blocking glasses when watching TV or being under your artificial lighting, maybe that you can't control or change or haven't.
Right, the blue filters.
Yeah.
So there's, these are blue blocking glasses that you see here, but there's also blue and green blocking glasses. So they're a little different colors. See, this is more of an orange, and these are more red. And these block 99% of blue and green light. And they're particularly suitable for people who need a deep, restful sleep in daytime hours, like shift workers. Even the brightest conditions won't disturb your sleep. So these are my favorite, and this is the state of the art so far. But these are a pack, and you can wear these to help protect yourself after sunset. And if you are watching LED TV, you can wear these. But you need to cover your skin because your skin is sensitive to light also. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and it's sensitive. It has photoreceptors sensitive to the blue and green light also. So you have to protect your skin also from this dark nighttime light. So this is important that we understand this and can start to apply it. Now here's some light bulbs. This is the old filament bulb, we remember.
The incandescent bulb.
This is called an incandescent bulb. It puts out mainly red, orange, and yellow light. And because of the filament, it glows, and when you turn it off, it takes a while for it to get totally dark. So when it's flickering at 120 times a second, like or all lights do, it buffers or dampens that on-off effect, so it's not as pronounced. Where LED lights can turn totally on, totally off very rapidly. That's why they're used for signaling and communications with optical fibers and things, because they can turn on and off so fast. Here's another bulb that looks the same. It looks like a frosted incandescent bulb, but it's really a halogen bulb. If you held this up to a brighter light source behind it, you'd see one of these little halogens inside of this. So this is putting out more of the blue light that's harmful to us. And we have compact fluorescent bulbs. These not only are filled with mercury, but they flicker at about 50,000 cycles a second. And that's like another form of noise on our nervous system. And so we need to not use these, and carefully they don't break because they're full of mercury vapor. But they put out the blue light also, which is telling our brains that it's high noon and upsetting our circadian rhythm. So another thing is I mentioned is the Wi-Fi router. This is putting out non-native electromagnetic fields. You can see, remember the Ethernet cables we used to use? Well, this plugs right into the back of the router, and then you plug these into your computer like we used to do. It's actually faster than wireless. You got to turn off the wireless when you do that, and then you don't get slammed with this frequency 24/7. And remember, your pets, your children, everyone is getting slammed with this 24/7.
It's a microwave frequency.
It's the same as your microwave oven going through the whole house.
Right. So we cook the food, or I don't, but people cook food in the microwave oven, and they close the door and they have it shielded, and they tell pregnant women not to be in front of it. But yet now we have these wireless devices. We have the router, we have cordless phones, we have Bluetooth devices, which are all using this microwave frequency. I don't think people get that. I don't think we've been told. I don't think people got the memo. Hey, we're going to microwave. These are microwave frequencies.
Right. Definitely.
Like,
so,
really? I didn't know.
Jack Cruz is a gentleman who opened my eyes to the importance of the effects of photobiology. He's a neurosurgeon, a dentist. He's a busy guy. And he's got this website and blog that you can go to, and you can see all the different topics, like your circadian cycle, 65 different blogs, cancer, 79, diabetes, 70 different blogs. There's a lot of information here. And what you can do is study this. He has different podcasts and things that you can subscribe and become a member. You can become a mitochondriac. And if you don't know about this stuff, you don't know Jack. Jack Cruz is a pretty amazing researcher.
Leading edge, for sure.
He's pioneered a lot of this information, but I want to share that with you. This is Jack Cruz here.
Yeah, he's got a really good story.
You can go on YouTube and do a search for Jack Cruz and listen to him being interviewed by many different people, and it's always very insightful. So Jack Cruz is shedding light on the effects of photobiology.
Yeah, good information.
Yeah.
So our top 5, we'll just go through them again. We have nutritional deficiency, and we talk about magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about not getting outdoors, and then wearing lenses and covering your eyes, wearing sunglasses, wearing sunscreen, and not getting the beneficial rays in your skin. We talked about artificial lighting indoors, the types of artificial lighting, and then the problems with extending artificial lighting after dark. And then we talked about how that works with melatonin depletion. First of all, if you're not getting out in that early light, you're not making enough. And then if you have the artificial light at night, you're not able to use what maybe you did make. And then one of the biggest things that we found is light in the bedroom after dark. We kind of tied in with just light after dark, but then you stay up and then you got this big bright TV. And was it after 2008, all the TVs got brighter. We got LEDs in all the TVs, and it took probably a year or so for them to get retrofitted. But now all of them have that intense blue light. So
that's the result of Obama's QE2 when they had the digital TV, digital television law they mandated, and then people started buying LED TVs so they could see the digital TV, and then computer monitors and tablets and cell phones and everything started to use those. And the average person has about 8 devices, and they look at them 150 to 300 times every day. So they're telling the brain, they're giving the brain the wrong information. So you get those filters on there, that helps a lot. We're blue blockers and things. And then the EMFs from the phone itself, not just the light, but and other sources of EMFs in your environment. Could be a smart meter on your house, could be baby monitor, next to where you sleep, or in the baby's crib. All kinds of these cordless phones are the worst. These put out a stronger signal than your cell phone, and they change frequency as you're talking on them, and they really scramble up your nervous system. But the signal is very strong. You can walk around out in your backyard and talk on this thing. But these have been around a long time, and another thing is these Bluetooth devices. There's the earbuds and headphones, and we had a guy that was wearing one of these almost 24/7. He even fell asleep with it on, and he had 2 cell phones, and he got a parotid tumor from it, and they cut it out, and we were helping him with the side effects of the radiation. But I asked him no one had asked him about his cell phone. Where do you hold your phone? And then what I did, he said, oh man, I wear a Bluetooth device right there. So people don't know to ask even. And I mentioned, you go to the allopathic medical field, you're going to be in the same kind of exposure to the blue lit environment with Wi-Fi and telemetry and ionizing radiation from CAT scans and fluoroscopy and all kinds of stuff. So it's really dangerous. They have no idea. Also, people are wearing these fitness monitors, Fitbits and Apple Watches and things right next to your skin, and these transmit microwaves to your cell phone.
So they're wearing them at night to transmit how they're not sleeping.
They can see how many times they woke up during the night. It's absurd. So these are bad news, and as is the flickering light, as I mentioned before. So all these things take their toll on our ability to sleep well. It's not just lack of nutrition like we used to think. So.
And you mentioned the Bluetooth thing. I just got myself a drawing tablet, and I only found one that was hardwired in. All the rest of them are Bluetooth. So, we have to look and see that these frequencies, like you said, cell phone by the side of your bed, the alarms, the wireless alarm systems, the cordless phones, baby monitors, gaming consoles. There's just many, many, many. It used to be just maybe one. We had the cordless phones, like you said, was bad enough. But now there's a lot.
How about your kids sitting in school all day being slammed with Wi-Fi? And then a lot of the schools have cell towers on top or close to them. They get revenue that way. It's like putting candy machines in the schools.
Right.
So no one knows to challenge this or questions it, but it affects the teachers as well as the students. But the students are more affected because they're younger, their cells are multiplying more rapidly.
The brains are still myelinating.
Exactly. So this is really a critical condition, and people have no idea. So it's up to us to share this information on a grassroots level. And I shared some of the slides from the PowerPoint video that I recently made. It's called Subtle Energy, and you can see that on our YouTube channel or on our website that's under construction. So
I might as well say the address. It'll be TUBEROSEhealing.com. And we just want to sum up this here real quick. The nutritional deficiencies and things you can do. Again, we talked about magnesium, getting the topical source of magnesium, getting a good oral source, doing an Epsom salt bath because Epsom salts are magnesium sulfate, winding down before you go to bed, making it dark, dimming the lights, retrofitting all of your indoor lighting, trying to get more of the incandescent bulbs, and then not using the big tubes if you don't have to, and then getting the morning sunlight as much as possible, and then some spot sunlight through the day, and then in the evening, let it go, be dark. Get used to the less light. We can use lights. We can be in technology. You can wear the blue blockers. You can get the blue blocking apps, and we can start to wind down a little bit and not be in go, go, go mode until the moment we try to fall asleep.
You have to do sleep foreplay. The condition, lower the lighting, put on some nice music, have candle oil light that's a non-blue, non-flickering light that prepares your body to sleep. And don't try to go from telling your body it's high noon and watching an action movie or something, or even the news, and then go into bed after that and expecting to be able to sleep.
Right. We can't be in this fight or flight mode during the day, which the blue light stimulates and puts us in a continual fight or flight mode, and then expect to go into the parasympathetic or the calm and sleep and the rest and the rebuild and the help the immune system and the detoxification. You can't turn that on if we're being driven constantly.
Exactly. So it's like looking in your mirror and seeing blue lights behind you. Blue light actually stimulates the paraventricular nucleus in our hypothalamus in the brainstem, and it turns on the sympathetic fight or flight response. And that raises your blood pressure. It prepares you to survive, to fight or run, not to sleep. So once you understand this, then you can start to utilize this understanding and put it into play in your lifestyle. And things will start changing. So,
all right.
hopefully we shed some light on this issue for you.
Yeah. So look forward to more, and tuberoshealing.com coming soon.
Thank you for
Thumbed up.
participating.
Yes.